Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Good, you know.
How's everything on the home front?
It's good. It's good.
How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's?
It's been a minute. Well, Christmas.
I guess we did a show Thursday, so that was after Christmas.
Yeah, everything's good. New Year's, a little different when you got a little kiddo. My aunt made the mistake, so my extended Ruther family Christmas has always been the Sunday after Christmas, but it's like you gotta factor the day Christmas falls on. Also with football, my poor aunt schedules a 3:00 extended family Ruther Christmas.
So the Ruther extended family Christmas, every year you guys do Christmas, and then whatever the next Sunday is, that's extended Ruther family Christmas?
That's how it's been since I've known it.
And so Christmas this year was on a Monday. So you go 6 days later, Ruther family Christmas?
I'm saying. And it's the 31st, so it's New Year's Eve. You got, obviously, a big local game. The Bengals play at 4:25. She's mad. Everybody's like, I'm out of here at 4. My poor aunt.
My poor aunt.
No, it was good. I did that. Watched the game. Then I went to my brother's, watched the game, and then came back home for a big night, guys. Andy had 5 milligrams of an edible.
Let's go.
Feeling nice. We Brittany and I watched we got through about 40 minutes of the new Chappelle stand-up special. And
what'd you think of it?
I need to rewatch it.
I got through about 11 minutes of it, and then I tapped out, and then I tried Ricky Gervais, and I tapped out after 10, and then I told my girlfriend, I think I just don't like stand-up comedy. I think I'm just not a fan of stand-up comedy.
I mean, I was laughing, but I know you guys are going to make fun of me. I was pretty stoned, so, like, I don't know. I wasn't firing on all cylinders, and then I was distracted because we had pizza and a giant chocolate mousse cake, so, those things kind of got me. So I don't know, but
I think I would have given him a little bit more time, because I've heard he gets into some stuff like the Netflix blurb was like, he talks about Chris Rock, he talks about the slap, he talks about getting attacked on stage or whatever, and I was like, oh, I want to hear about that. I think I would have given him more time if he didn't start out his thing with a quote from Henry David Thoreau, as if he is doing some sort of like I was just like, we are taking ourselves a bit seriously, aren't we, buddy? And then 3 minutes in, he was like, crippled people are hilarious. And by the way, let me just say for the record, crippled people are hilarious. I have no problem. I've absolutely no issue with the let's make fun of some handicapped folks things. I don't think anything's off limits in comedy. But when you pair that with everybody silence your cell phones, Henry David Thoreau is going to drop some knowledge on you before this very important comedy special. And then he was like, handicapped people are funny. I was like, I'll come back to this some other time.
Well, the intro was very serious.
Yeah.
Especially when you're stoned. I was like, what's happening? But I didn't even think about that. I think he's obviously, in his making jokes about punching down, he's obviously going at what his critics have been saying about him. I mean, I was laughing. He was making me think a little on some things. The Chris Rock bit was pretty good. Like I said, probably need to go back and watch. The special recently that I really enjoyed the most was Shane Gillis. Like, I was laughing pretty hard out loud at that special. I've actually been watching more stand-up lately. I don't know if I have a little bug in me, a little stand-up bug. I've been watching a lot more. We started watching. I love. Now, I had never seen much of his stand-up, but I love the videos that Stabby does as the Ravens fan. So we started watching his special. It was okay. Like I said, I gotta watch it more. But we've been watching a lot of stand-up. I'm actually a little surprised now that I think about it, how much stand-up I've been watching.
We tried the other night. For some reason, my girlfriend really wanted to watch it, so we tried Chappelle. We bailed. We tried Ricky Gervais. We bailed. And then I was like, you can never really go wrong with some Cat Williams. So we put on whatever Cat Williams was, his 2022 World War III.
Was that the one in Jacksonville? No, different one.
No, that was the one, yeah, somewhere. I forget where it was. We bailed again. It was, that one was a little, that one, like, I just made me think we weren't in the headspace for a little Cat Williams. Also, if Cat Williams doesn't have his fucking, if he doesn't have his little bob haircut thing, like, I can't. He had a hat on. I was like, man, if he's not taking the time to get his perm, like, I think his powers all come from that. I love me some Cat Williams though.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big Cat Williams guy.
But then three stand-up attempts and literally less than probably 10, 12 minutes for 3 in a row. I was like, let's just put on something else.
You're a tougher critic. I'm obviously I'm an easy guy to laugh. I'm a laugher in general.
Yeah.
Like I'll laugh at a lot of stuff. That I think most people with a comedy background wouldn't laugh at. But yeah, man, there's a lot out there. There is so much out there at this point, which is insane. Like the amount at everybody's fingertips, whether it's on Netflix or YouTube or TikTok. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's insane. There's just so much stand up. But yeah, I'll probably get back to some of those. Who knows? Maybe I'll hit up an open mic or something. I don't know.
Let's go.
Little got a tiny little bug from New Orleans trip. A little stand up bug in me. Doing a little more writing.
Get down to a local comedy club and show them the pictures from New Orleans. Tell them what we did in New Orleans, and tell them we have a great audience in the Midwest. And tell them that the date of the Mets at Red series, I think, is early April or early May.
Wow, you've already looked at that type of series.
Oh, you know me, Andy. I've had the Mets 2024 schedule as a bookmark in my bookmark bar on my browser for 2 months.
Wow. Going in.
Not even because like the Mets off season is an absolute goddamn nightmare so far, but it's like it's just a reason to go to see some place and go to. Obviously, I've been to Cincinnati. I've been to the Great American Ballpark, but I haven't been there when the Mets were there.
I've seen some Mets. Seen some Mets-Reds games.
I'm going to try to check at least 2 to 3 ballparks off my list this year of ones that I have not been to.
Which would be, where are we thinking?
It seems crazy that I haven't gotten to Arizona. I've been to all the West. I've been to every West AL and NL West team stadium except Arizona. So seems like you got to get that one out of the way. I would like to go to Pittsburgh this year if I can possibly do it. And I'm trying to reconnect with the good folks at Comedy Key West and try to line up my dates for a Mets at Marlins weekend. And then if I get down to Mets at Marlins, it seems like it would be dumb not to go to Tampa Bay while I'm there, even if it's not the Mets weekend.
Maybe if you head down to Miami, you can. I don't think he's based in Miami, but maybe you can DM our diehard Dolphins fan.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you guys can talk a little.
Well, Andy, it's. I've been doing it this morning on Twitter. I know you had a lot in the DMs. So we got you got a message. You sent me a screenshot of it.
I mean, let me this way. It's not just a message. Shout out to my boy Damon. I woke up. He had messaged me. I'm just gonna pull it up. Look at my phone. He had messaged me, because I was already sleeping. He had messaged me. I mean, these are novels. 2 big things Eastern time at 3:08 and 3:11 a.m. on Sunday. That's what I woke up to. And the gist of it is we don't talk about the Dolphins enough. We don't respect Mike McDaniel. We don't respect Tua. We don't respect their offense, etc. Like, that's the gist. I think he'd probably agree.
Right.
And he did not like how we didn't discuss the Dolphins-Cowboys game, which
during the Monday episode following the game, which we recorded a week and a half prior.
Yeah. So obviously we recap games on Monday, but we had a 1,000th episode.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Andy, but I would say that the way we decide, I would say historically on this show, in no particular order, but we talk about really good contending football teams. I think we focus a lot, like we focused a lot this year on the Niners and the Chiefs. And we've talked about, the Ravens the last few weeks because they've inserted themselves into the mix. We've talked about the Bengals a lot because they've been good the last few years. Also, you're a former born again, however you want to look at it, Bengals fan. We talk about the Giants because I'm a Giants fan. We talk about I think you'll find that we end up talking a lot about like the Cowboys and the Eagles because I'm a Giants fan. We talk a lot about the AFC North because that's inevitably your division. We have also focused a lot on teams where maybe we disagree about something. We've talked a lot over the years about Russell Wilson's teams, whether it be the Broncos or the Seahawks, because you and I have a difference of opinion on that. We also talk, and this is where we're going to transition into talking about the Dolphins. We also talk about teams, like we talk about the Vikings. We talk about the Lions. We've talked about the Ravens in the past because fans of those teams, we find their like need for us to focus on them to be annoying to the point where we're like, fine, we'll fucking focus on you. Like, we called out Lions fans for being fucking delusional. And then we heard from every Lions fan. I've said Kirk Cousins is trash forever. So there's anytime Kirk Cousins takes his shirt off and fucking blows the horn, you get 20 messages. Such a team guy. We've talked about Jameis Winston. You and I don't disagree on the Dolphins. You and I don't care about the AFC East particularly.
Well, and that's, and that one of my points to him was, unless they're good teams or interesting teams, or there's something personal, i.e. a Giants, a Bengals, somebody in those teams' divisions. I mean, this is how it started off. I just got to read the first few sentences.
Also, before you get going, you used to talk about Tua all the time. You're just not doing it this year because
it's the same.
We agree. You and I don't have I don't think the Dolphins are for real this year. I also don't think the Dolphins are for real. Cool. Should we keep going for an hour?
Yeah, and that's been my thing. So my thing real quick on the Dolphins, exactly. It's not that I think Tua sucks. He doesn't suck. And he's leading the league in passing yards, and he has 28 touchdowns. Cool story, bro. That like for me, my discourse now with NFL discussions has turned so much about the playoffs, as it should, I think, right? And this is how it all started. He messaged me at 3:08 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday. The Dolphins discourse has gotten so out of control, Andy. Genuinely don't know if I've heard one positive sentence all season on the show. They're the number 2 seed with the number 1 offense in football and a defense led by Vic Fangio that is hot. And then he goes on and on. So basically, long story short, guys, I wrote this back to him after he wrote me a novel. Dolphins have 1 win against a good team. I still think they're paper tigers. Beat the Ravens on the road, and they'll earn my respect. And I think their coach is a huge dork. Don't take it personally. We don't have to agree. And I think
and we probably haven't talked about the Cowboys this year as much as the majority of the national media, because you and I don't really believe in the Cowboys either. We called it the Paper Tiger Bowl.
Correct.
Doesn't that tell you everything? Like, we think both of these teams are paper tigers. So whoever comes out of the Paper Tiger Bowl doesn't insert themselves into the fucking contender conversation.
And the numbers don't lie. The Dolphins are now 1-4 against winning teams. Before they beat the Cowboys, they had lost 6 straight against winning teams dating back to the 2022 season. And this number to me is the most telling. The Dolphins lead the NFL in points per game at about 30 points per game. Their points per game against teams with winning records is 18.4. They're scoring almost 2 touchdowns less against teams with winning records. So look, man, I don't respect your team. I don't, because you're a paper tiger. You are.
And also, I respect your team as much as I respect every other team that makes the playoffs that I don't think has any chance of winning the Super Bowl. Like, we did this. I did this last year with the Vikings. You're not giving Kirk Cousins the respect. He's winning these big games. He's 13-4, huge drives. They're undefeated in fucking 1-score games. He should be the MVP. He's leading the league in passing. He's got the best receiver. I don't think he can win the fucking Super Bowl. And then they lose to the Giants at home in the playoffs. And everybody goes, "You're right. I was wrong." I didn't know. I don't need you to tell me that. I'm well aware when I'm right. Thanks for fucking wasting my goddamn time all season. Did you think saying you were right and I was wrong makes up for the absolute waste of hours that you fucking put me through?
And for the record, it's not even about respect. I know I just said that. Their offense is fun to watch. I know he thinks I don't watch their games. That's part of it. Dude, I watch all the games. I got Sunday ticket. They're all on. Am I paying a little closer attention to some versus others when I got 4 games on a screen and 2 on another screen or whatever? Yeah, for sure. I'm paying more attention to some than others. But again, you're not good against good teams.
But now let's also do this. So last week, two weeks ago, they played the Cowboys. We didn't do a show on Monday. Okay.
No, that was pre-recorded.
We would have talked about the Paper Tiger Bowl. It was still 100%. The Paper Tiger Bowl. Okay. We didn't talk about it. Unfortunately for you, you actually, in the time between the Paper Tiger Bowl and the next recap episode, which is today, you played a team in your own fucking conference who you were battling for the 1 seed. And you got butt fucked! Butt fucked. No lube, cock, asshole, fucked. Blood and shit everywhere. The city of Miami was covered in blood and shit. The most butt fucking. Have you seen the score of the Ravens Dolphins game during the tank for Tua season? It's the same fucking score. You got scoreagami butt fuck, dude. You don't give us respect. Cool, dude. You just gave Lamar Jackson the fucking MVP. You gave the fucking Ravens the 1 seed. You got fucking murdered. Murdered. Where's your fucking offense, dude? Why wasn't it 59-58? You got absolutely fucking mandangled. Lamar Jackson came back to South Florida, took his cock out, and drew a fucking mustache on Mike McDaniel's face with it.
Well, the game was in Baltimore, but
who the fuck cares? He butt fucked you guys, took his shit dick out, and painted a fucking shit mustache on Mike McDaniel's face. Butt fucked.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar 100% solidified his MVP. We discussed it last episode. Who's the MVP? He solidified it against the Dolphins in a big game. Absolutely destroyed. I mean, destroyed. But see, my friend Damon, this is the point. And what I don't understand, and I keep asking this, he himself doesn't think they'll win a playoff game. Why are we? So what's the discussion? You have a fun offense until you go against a good team? I don't know what the discussion about the Dolphins is. They have a fun offense until they play a real team. That's not interesting to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not interesting to me. And I'll go on record saying this. And I've obviously had my battles with Lions fans. I've been critical of the Lions. The Lions are a better team than the Dolphins, dude. I firmly believe that. Like, to use another kind of similar fan base battles we've had, I think there's so much of a better chance the Lions win a playoff game. I've seen a lot more out of the Lions than I have of the Dolphins.
A lot of teams win fucking playoff games. Okay.
Sure.
Like the fact of the matter is, a lot of teams that I don't really fucking think have any potential chance of winning the Super Bowl are going to win a playoff game this year. Okay. But what are we talking about? Like,
well, I'll say,
what is the thing? Like, you guys are not talking about it enough. Talking about what enough?
And that when we do, it's only negative. That's his gripe. But look, man, it's not just us.
Meanwhile, we've been negative about the Dolphins in the past. We've been negative about Tua. We've been negative about the concussions. We've been negative about them not being able to stay on the field. And we talked about it. And now this year, we're not negative. We're just indifferent because we're like, oh, they're playing pretty well, but they're not contenders. And it's like, now you're not talking about us enough. Like, it's
look at
insane.
the spread, by the way. Look at the spread this week. This is all I'm going to say, man. And obviously, there's a good chance Miami wins that game. The Miami Dolphins are at home, and they are 3-point underdogs against the Bills.
I got a response from him yesterday because I was commenting on the debacle that was the final play of the college football. His reply to me in one of these: you don't have to like it, college football. No need to tell everyone else how they should feel about it too. Great. That's the Dolphins. I don't like it. I don't feel the need to tell everybody about how I don't like it. Thank you. I agree with you. It's all the same fucking thing. Now we're talking about your team, bro. Because you're Vikings fans last year. Because you're Lions Reddit. Look at me. Look at me. Hi. I'm over here. Look at me. Hi. 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 I need your attention. Well, you got it. Your team got fucked in its asshole. Pretty goddamn hard. Blood and shit everywhere.
I'll say this, man. If you beat the Bills, the Finns would retain the 2 seed, and they'd play well, I don't know who it would be. Right now, it's the Colts. You know, that could be the Colts. It could be the Texans. It could be the Steelers. It could be a lot of teams in the 7 seed. Again. It could be the Bills again. Correct. Yeah, I'm completely forgetting that. So there's a chance to win a playoff game, but it's like I want to discuss teams that have chances to win playoff games for the most part, and they obviously have a chance. But again, that's why we call them paper tigers. That's why that term exists. I just whether it's him or somebody else, I don't know what fan base, I don't know what some of you guys want. Again, if we're not believing your team, and by the way, that's a small list at this point, right? It's a small list. You know, you have obviously the 2 number 1 seeds. And then after that, who is it? Who is it? Like, I firmly believe the Bills could be sneaky good and upset. Chiefs, we all know that
Dude,
situation.
the Cowboys are the NFC Dolphins. They've overtaken the Eagles. They're in the 2 seed. We don't believe in them.
Yeah.
We don't believe in them. We think Dak looks good at times. We think Dak looks shitty at times. Am I supposed to do an hour every episode now about the fucking Cowboys? Oh, you shit on Dak last year when he was throwing 2 picks every game, but you're not talking about him now that he's playing good football? Like, now all of a sudden I got, like, dude, if you play great football, you get my attention. If you play fucking shitty football, you get my attention. Like, now I've got to suck Dak and Tua's dicks because for the first time ever, they look really good. Even though they only win fucking games at home. Even though they only win fucking games against, like, mediocre teams. I did this with the fucking Vikings last year. Remember when the Cowboys beat the snot out of them? Remember when Daniel Jones beat them in a fucking playoff game? We did it. 13. Well, I don't know what they have to do. 13-4. They beat the Bills. I don't know, man. Playing a fucking conference championship game? It's wide open. It's wide fucking open, by the way. It's wide fucking open.
It's wide
Playing
open.
the conference championship game. We just said it's the 2 teams. We said it's the 2-1 seeds. So, listen, conference championship weekend, we're going to do a fucking 45 minutes on both games. There'll be 2 games. We're going to do 45 minutes on both games. Be in one.
Yeah, man. Like, to me, again, if you can't perform against good teams, you're not worthy of my attention, man. And I'll tell you what, whether it's the Dolphins fans or the Bengals fans or whoever, if I hear anything about injuries, guys, the NFL is full of injuries every goddamn year. Every year. There's a reason the term next man up is a thing. There's a reason. Like, you can never use injuries as an excuse. And obviously the Browns are kind of the poster child for that, how you can't use it. Joe Flacco playing video games, throwing post patterns to his dad, comes off the bench, and they've won 11 games. Like, the injury thing, I don't buy. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl as a backup. You know, Jeff Hostetler won a Super Bowl as a backup with your Giants.
Tom Brady won fucking 7 as a backup.
Yeah, it happens. So the injury thing, I don't want to hear from any team. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Injuries matter.
Of course they matter. Of course they matter. But like what? But what the fuck do you want? Cool, you're injured, so you're not gonna. So this is why I'm not paying attention. I don't think you're fucking good enough to win the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, and obviously there's 2 really good teams. And obviously they could be susceptible in their own right. Like
list your teams in order that you think play in the Super Bowl from the AFC. In order.
Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. I mean, are we looking at playoffs right now? Ravens, Bills, Chiefs,
Dolphins,
Browns.
Okay. Dolphins.
I put the Dolphins and the rest all together.
But you think the Dolphins have a better chance than the Texans or a better chance than the Colts?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So you believe this is just Andy Ruther's opinion. Andy Ruther's
Just my opinion. Just my
They
opinion.
have you think they have the 5th best chance of going to the Super Bowl out of their own conference.
Yeah, because they struggle against good teams, and the playoffs all good teams.
How deep are we supposed to fucking go, guys?
And I assume you'd be pretty similar on that list.
Pretty
with me.
similar. Pretty similar. Like, you know, the Browns are a fun story. It might be a coin flip right there. If the Bills, this is a huge game this weekend for the Dolphins Bills. Did you not think we were going to talk about the Dolphins Bills game?
We'll talk about it.
We're going to fucking talk about it. Huge. I think the Bills, right now, you're like, for me, the winner of that game obviously has a better fucking chance. So, like, the Bills being a 7 seed or potentially out of the Super Bowl or out of the playoffs doesn't give them as good a chance. Even though I think they might be I think they might be a more dangerous team to play. Even if I think that, not if the Dolphins are the 2 and the Bills are the 7. I don't think that. Now, that being said, let's say it's a coin flip between them, and let's say it's a fucking, I've got you in the Bills Browns pack above the teams that Andy said you were with. Like, I've got you above whoever comes out of the AFC South, but I've got you below the fucking Ravens. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, look, we all know how big defense is come playoffs. Defense is a step up. Quarterback play is huge. Hey, man, I'm looking forward to seeing Tua in the playoffs. This will be his first playoffs, right?
well, knock on wood. He's still got to get through week fucking 18.
By the way, I would not call myself a Mike McDaniel hater. I just think he's a dork, and I don't find him as cool as some people like to think he is. And again, that's nothing personal. A lot of people probably think I'm a dork. I am. But
Yeah.
my point is, I tried to watch Hard Knocks. I don't find him I think he tries too hard to be cool.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
100%. When you can tell he's a football nerd and has spent no moments in his life being cool.
And
This
look,
is the Tiger Woods syndrome.
Yeah, and he's a brilliant football nerd. He's a great play. I'm not denying. He's a great play caller. No one's denying that. You're a dork though, man.
Now, does he focus enough on conditioning? I don't know. You're complaining a lot about your injuries. So maybe you shouldn't be out shopping for fucking pants that don't fit. Maybe run a couple more sprints in fucking preseason. Maybe quit shopping for fucking Don Shula knockoff glasses. Yeah, we're injured. No one gives a fuck.
Which number 1 seed do you think is the most susceptible? I think it's the Ravens. And the only reason I'm going to say that, again, is the history. Like, Lamar Jackson doesn't have a good history. Now, to be fair, Brock Purdy doesn't really have a history. I
think the Ravens are more susceptible because I think that there's better teams overall in the AFC playoffs than there are in the NFC. I don't believe we talk about, listen, I'm not going to sit over here and tell you that I think the Chiefs are anything near what they were. I don't think that the Chiefs make a run this year, but also I'm not going to wake up on fucking Super Bowl Sunday. Like, can you believe the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl? Can you fucking believe it? Because of course I could believe it. Of course I could believe it. Now, I don't think they're going to be because they got to go on the road this year. I don't think they're going to be because they haven't looked fucking good even up to this week. But I wouldn't be fucking shocked. Meanwhile, I look around the NFC. You got the NFC Dolphins, a.k.a. the Cowboys. You've got the Eagles, who are just bad at this point. You've got I mean, well, like who am I like? Who am I going? This is the team. Whoever comes out of the NFC South. Do I think Baker Mayfield? Like all of a sudden, the Rams are an interesting fucking story because they're like, God damn, the NFC isn't that strong. Then, of course, the Rams did not look good this weekend against the Giants. So who am I forgetting that's like, oh my God. Now, that being said, we just saw what the Ravens did to the Niners. So if the Ravens get to the Super Bowl and they play the Niners, yeah, they've got a great chance of winning that game. They already beat them. But I think that they're more susceptible because they're going to play tougher teams along the way.
Yeah, and I think, and the truth is, I think it's good for the game. This is, I'd say there's more question marks this year heading into the playoffs as far as who's going to make it than in previous years.
That's the whole other thing. When you want to talk about the Cowboys and the Dolphins and the Lions, these teams whose fans are like, why aren't you fucking paying attention to us? Because I think it's as wide open as it's ever been. And I also don't think you're making the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, there are very few teams at this point I'd be shocked. Right? If somebody went on a run, I just am like, yeah, it's this year, man.
Yeah.
It's the league. It's the league this year. Like at this point, I would not be shocked if the Browns
because those two teams are going to get buys. And then if either the way we just talked about it, if either of those teams were knocked out, which we can so totally see in this kind of year, at that point, then it is anybody's game, right? Once the Niners or the Ravens are out, those conferences, it's like, okay, it could be anybody.
Yeah. So I'm just going to address this comment real quick. This is from a Dolphins fan. The Dolphins are paper tigers. We know this. So what's the ranting and raving?
Exactly.
The ranting and raving
is we haven't ranted and raved about them enough, apparently.
Well, it's just a response to these DMs. Like I said, I've probably never gotten so many DMs. This is true in the 10 years of this show about one team. I mean, that's what this whole discussion's about, for the most part. Just addressing why we haven't.
And this is what the Lions said. This is what Lions fans said to me earlier this year. All you guys did was shit on us, and now you don't. It's like no one cares. They're like, we didn't give a fuck about the Lions. We don't give a fuck about the Dolphins.
Can we talk about them for a minute, though? The Lions in that game and some of the fourth downs, and obviously, Campbell's aggressive and how that game ended.
I did not watch the end of that game live. I had a show. I was watching it.
Oh my God. Insane.
I have not seen it. The only thing I know,
insane.
It does seem like they got screwed by the refs.
They did.
Right?
They got screwed.
It does seem like they got screwed on the also, let me just say this. Why are we doing the reporting thing at all?
I don't know.
Why are we doing the reporting thing at all? Because NFL players are too dumb to know how the rules work. So we need to protect. We need a built-in protection from that. You can be number 6 and be a nose tackle on a fucking team now. You can be number fucking 1 and be a fucking linebacker. So now all of a sudden we're still doing the how in the world was I supposed to know he could catch a football? He's wearing the number 70. I don't know, because we did away with all that shit a couple years ago. If you're on the end of a line, you can catch a pass. If you're in the backfield, you can catch a pass. Why is this protection even built in? The refs can't decide who's on the line and who's off the line?
Here's my thing. They obviously, what the Lions purposely did on that 2-point try was confuse the Dolphins. I'm sorry, confuse. God, I'm talking about the fucking Dolphins too much. Was confuse the Cowboys. That was their intent, to confuse the Cowboys, and they did. But they also confused the refs. What made it so weird for me was, I was of course watching it live. Wildly entertaining game, extremely entertaining game. Campbell decides to go for it. The 2-point conversion. I don't hate that. Be aggressive, man. You're on the road. You're in a way playing with house money. You've already
won your
up.
division.
You've already won your division. I don't hate Dan Campbell being aggressive there. But what was so odd was, again, they score, everybody's happy. The lineman catches the pass, and then it's like confusion just ensues. It's classic NFL. No accountability. And I've said this so many times. There's zero. I don't know what's going to make this change happen unless all of us stop watching, and that's not going to happen. There's zero accountability. And it's a debacle. And we've said it. A lot of other people have said it. Make the refs face the press like the players and coaches have to do after the game. Make the refs full-time employees, not doctors and lawyers and firemen or whatever the hell they do. There's too much money. When you factor in the gambling, the billions of dollars at stake, you cannot have these things happen. There's too much money involved at this point. And it was a shit show. It was a complete and utter shit show that it would end that way.
And the whole thing with him saying it before the game and whatever, it's like, dude, you guys can't fuck this up when teams go out of their way to fucking make sure you don't fuck it up. Then you just have to eat your L. But also, it does, listen, I know there are Lions fans out there who are delusional, right? So we've dealt with them. The conspiracy of they want the Cowboys to win this game, I think is pretty dumb. But at the same time, it's one of the few times where I'm like, I will entertain that argument. If you're telling me you went up and told the guy before the game that you were going to do this play, and then we have on video him going, and then they still call a flag, you're like, this is the only time I'm entertaining.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Doesn't add up to me.
Now, the Dan Campbell aggressiveness thing, again, I didn't watch a game. I had to do everything via Twitter, via video.
He was going
for it again after, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, goes for it on the 7-yard line, but not even just that. He does, and it was successful. He goes for a fake punt inside his own 30.
Right.
He goes for multiple. Here's all I'll say: multiple 4th downs where you could have got a field goal. The game's over. I don't know. I mean, they showed the stats during the game. He goes for it more than anybody. I mean, he is aggressive. I don't mind an aggressive coach. Be aggressive, but at times, it's kind of like the guy.
I watched into the third quarter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like 10-7 at the half. Something like that.
Not sure the exact score.
It wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
It was a low-scoring game.
Yeah. So that was the thing about the fake punt. It was like, we're not at a point in the game where you're like, no one's stopping anybody.
7-3 at half, Dallas.
Yeah. We're not at a point in this game where you're going like, no one can stop each other. I've got to get these points. Like, if I punt it away, I'm fucking taking an L now. It's like, and I said that, dude, early in the year, and shocker, we had a crazed Lions fan who was angry at me. Game 1, when they beat the Chiefs, I said, if the Lions are so good, how come they play so goddamn desperate? He did the same thing. We just talked about this last episode. Dude, Doug Peterson had a year where every fucking crazy call went his way. And now Doug Peterson is going to coach himself out of the fucking league. Just because it works a couple times doesn't mean it's the right call. I'm not against Dan Campbell going for it at the end of the game, going for 2. You very clearly got fucked by the refs.
Yeah.
After that happens, compose yourself. You just took a bad beat in poker. Don't go on tilt.
Kick the extra point, yeah.
Kick the fucking extra point. Nah, man. We're not letting the NFL do us that way, man. I'm going to get a fucking 2-point anyway, man.
It's the equivalent of you're driving under the influence of alcohol. You get pulled over. And basically they let you go.
And you still don't let your sober buddy drive.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I'm good. They're not going to pull me over twice. Why are we doing this, man?
You know what though? I was actually impressed though. I mean, it was a hard fought game. It was an entertaining game. I was impressed with the Lions. And just to go back real quick, that's not what I'm seeing from the Dolphins. On the road, playoff atmosphere, that type of game.
But here's the other thing about the the Lions Cowboys game. No one went out there and beat somebody 59-17. If the Cowboys, who are currently the 2 seed and were fighting for the 2, if the Lions had smacked the shit out of them, I'd been like, dude, I think we need to pay attention to the Lions. The arguably third best team in the conference, the Lions went on the road there and smacked the shit out of them. There's a huge gap. But they didn't. They played it close, just like the Dolphins played the Cowboys close and came out on the right side of it. The paper Tigers having fucking games come down to the last drive in paper Tiger bowls doesn't prove who leaves with the win and who leaves with the loss doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah. Side note.
If the Cowboys had beaten the Lions 59-17 too, I'd be like, you know what? Cowboys are fucking good.
Tell me you don't want to see Lions, Rams, first round, Matthew Stafford returns to Detroit.
Yeah. Of course I do.
That'd be a great storyline. Did you see the Panthers owner throw a drink on the Jags fan?
Yes.
I mean, what is this? David Tepper? Bro, what are you doing? It's out of frame, and then you just see.
This is after it happened, I think.
Oh,
I think it happened pretty quickly into it.
Anyway, there it is.
There you go.
But see, to go back to the refs, this is another. We've heard nothing. I know Roger Goodell works for the owners, obviously. But it's like, guys, come on. Also, this guy, the more I hear about this guy, just a dick. Now, I would argue most billionaires probably are dicks because you don't get to the $1 billion status without being a dick. Dude, you lost your cool on Jags fans.
Yeah.
You lost your cool on Florida man. That guy standing up in the jersey, you literally let Florida man get under your skin.
Also, you guys won fucking 2 games the whole year. Like, what? Like, are you not numb to this at this point? It's not like you were just eliminated from the fucking playoffs. And what in the world could he possibly? Now listen,
they got boat race too.
Here's the thing. I think some things are off limits. Did he say?
I missed something.
Alexa, shut up. What the fuck was that? I think if the Jags fan yelled in there, we're fucking your team harder than I fucked your dead wife's corpse. Okay, throw a drink at him. But if he said, you fucking traded 3 picks for fucking Bryce Young, you fucking idiot, and you threw a drink, I'm almost like you should have the team taken away.
Yeah. Well, again, you're the owner, man. You're just letting drunk Jags fans, dude. You let a Jags fan get under your skin. I didn't even know
Yeah.
Jags fans existed.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know how this week went for you?
No, I have no idea.
That was a game, bro. This thing is completely flipped upside down on you.
I've the last 3 weeks of my football picking has been a nightmare.
I picked up 3.
So you're
now
up 2?
I'm up 3 heading into the final week. We were tied. These last few weeks have just murdered you. And like
I
games,
wasn't up 1 going into this week.
well, you were up 1 after the Thursday game.
Ah, got it. And you still picked up 3.
Even like I took you Giants. Like I took Denver. Remember those games? You're like, man, Ruther is gonna, if he gets these. What about this Russ situation? This is kind of fascinating.
Well, I saw something, but I didn't do the. This should make the fucking Dolphins fan happy. I didn't look into it because I'm like, everybody's like, there's twists and turns. Like, at this point, isn't it all? Didn't we know the story? Like, what came out the last couple of days that people are like crying about?
Man. They this is why. I mean, people were like, this is going to have repercussions across the league. I think they told him. I've never heard of this. They told him unless
restructure your deal,
or
or
we're
we're
just
going to
bench
bench
you.
you. Yeah, but
like,
didn't we know that? Did we know that
Mm.
last episode?
No, we didn't know that.
I felt like it was kind of assumed already.
No. I mean, this. I'll just play the clip. This is what, and again, this is coming from Russ. So
Right.
But this did happen. This is confirmed. There's no denying this from anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
What can you say about that?
Yeah, they just during we beat the Chiefs. They came up to me during the bye week, and beginning of the bye week, Monday or Tuesday, and they told me that if I didn't change my contract, my injury guarantee, that I'd be I'd be benched for the rest of the year, and I think we had 9 games left or so. I was definitely disappointed about it, and it was a process throughout the whole week, for a whole bye week, and we just came off beating the Chiefs, played a pretty good game against the Chiefs. We just came off of that, so I was excited, obviously, for us fighting for the playoffs and get on a hot streak, and and then NFLPA and NFL got involved or whatever, I think, but at some point, but I think for me, I came here to play here, to win. I knew it was going to be a process to I signed a 7-year deal to, for us to go and play hard, and that's my goal every time I step into the white lines, is give everything I have. I want to be here, I want to play here, I want to be able to win here, I want to win championships here, I want to give my all every week, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the score is, and I want to be the best teammate and leader that I can be in the midst of it all, and so that's why I was out here at practice every day, and I told Jared I'll help him and lead and do whatever it takes and keep the guys going and try to lead the right way. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. I think winning is a habit, mentality-wise, focus.
Okay. So here's my thing. First of all, Russ, you can be a better teammate. We all know that. There's enough history and dirty laundry as far as being the best teammate. This is insane to me, though. It's insane because they just won, and they actually. Here's what everybody's talking about, and rightly so. They won a bunch of games after that, right? They went on like a hot streak. They win 4 or 5 in a row, and they wait till he starts playing bad again. It's.
Well, no, they waited till they were eliminated, essentially.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, this is the first time I've ever seen, especially in the last couple of years, you're suddenly getting sympathy for Russ, which
you're not getting it from me, and that's not because I hate Russ.
Well, hold on real quick. Especially after what Sean Payton says. Like, Sean Payton He's just a fucking liar at this point. Like Sean Payton lied about Bountygate, said he had no clue.
Yeah.
Obviously but he's lying. He says he was not privy to any contract discussions with Wilson. That's a lie. He says that's something general manager George Patton and the front office handle. I'm not involved in any of that. Bullshit. There will be a time and place at the end of season where some of the questions you might have, someone else will be able to answer. He's just lying there, Prano, and that's what I hate. Like, dude,
listen, here's the thing. Here's the Sean Payton. My opinion of both of these guys are exactly the same. I think both are overrated. I think both got a lot of credit for things that they probably shouldn't have gotten credit for. I think both are kind of dickheads.
Okay,
and
all fair,
all
fair.
And so that is why I'm not a fan of either one. Now, the reason I have had to have a infinite more conversations about my lack of fandom in Russ than I have my lack of fandom in Sean Payton is because there wasn't a bunch of Sean Payton defenders out there who are like, how do you not think Sean Payton's a goddamn GOAT? Top 5 coach in the league, you know? But that's just, otherwise I think of them exactly the same thing. Now, the thing about the Russ quotes here, I mean, all I know is to win. And all I know is this. Well, everybody that understands the game of NFL football beyond the fact that it's, beyond from a fantasy football standpoint, knows that the finances are a big part of winning. How much you're paying, who you have money-wise. So Tom Brady did a lot of renegotiating his contract. You don't care enough about winning that you adjusted your salary for it. You're not putting winning over money. And maybe you don't think that you owe that to this Broncos team who have treated you in some sort of way. That's fine. But don't do the winning over everything thing when they're like, if you don't take less money, if you don't adjust your injury guarantee, we're going to move on from you. He's like, what the fuck do I care about any of that shit, man? I'm just here to win football games. Let's go. Is that going to help us win? Let's go. Just, by the way, fuck NFL owners.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
The Broncos.
They signed a deal.
I am not saying.
Because if this was reversed, you and I both know. Like if it's, and that's my thing. To me, this is bigger than Russ. It's these owners, whether it's him or somebody else.
I'm not saying. Here's
they
my point.
signed the contract. They should live up to it.
Here's my point.
They do the same thing to the players all the time.
Russ owed them that. I'm not saying that. If I was Russ Wilson, I wouldn't have done it either, but I also wouldn't lie about it. I wouldn't be like, it's winning over everything. I would be like, this goddamn league is a cesspool of billionaire assholes who use us, abuse us, and throw us away. They don't care about me any more than they care about anybody else in the fucking world. I am not his son. I'm not his stepson. This is a business. I care about my teammates, but I have to put me first because some of these guys are going to get traded. Some of these guys are going to leave. The team's going to fuck them. They're going to fuck the team. You guys signed the deal. I'm playing on it. You don't like it? You shouldn't have offered it to me. But don't do the only thing that matters to me is Jesus Christ and winning. And they're like, cool. All we're asking is for you to take a little less money. It's like, well, I don't care about it that much.
And that's fair. I will not disagree at all with that. I just think, again, it's such a recent contract, and obviously it's been a debacle of a contract. But if I'm a free agent, and I'm like, this is what Denver's doing? I'm going to sign a deal, and they're going to suddenly tell me 7 games into the season.
But also, the Raiders did it with Carr. The Colts did it with Matt Ryan.
I don't think they did that this early. Is the point.
Maybe not this early, but they did this in some regard, right?
For sure.
I think somebody did this with Jimmy G, maybe. I don't know. There was a list I saw.
Correct. Jimmy G and the Raiders.
So you're running out of teams that haven't tried to do it. And if you consider the teams that have already done it, and then you consider the teams that would do it, like, I don't think any of these, you have to be pretty ignorant to think NFL owners and GMs aren't going to try to fuck you every which way.
No, for sure. But again, back to Sean Payton real quick. He's just been a debacle, dude. He came in. We've all never seen this happen. Why? He comes in, he starts talking shit about the old coach. Why? That's just weird.
Right.
Like, my point is, from the start, he clearly didn't want Russ as his QB. And by the way, that's fine. But dude, that's what you signed up for.
Right.
That's what you signed up for.
Should have waited another year and gone to the fucking Chargers.
Yeah, like, that's what you signed up for, man. So don't get on the podium and lie and say, I had no clue. I was not privy to this. You're a liar, dude. There's a history of you being a liar.
Yeah, there is a history of him being a liar.
So
kind of a long history of it at this point.
Yeah, it is a long history.
Going back to like him, what jobs he was looking at, what jobs he wasn't looking at, why he was going to look. Oh, there was like his girlfriend was in Dallas at one point. Remember that whole fucking story? I'm not looking at Dallas. Well, why'd you buy a house there?
Yeah. And that's the thing with him. I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything that comes out of a lot of the guy's mouth. I really don't trust anything that comes out of his mouth. But look, they're kind of a dumpster fire organization right now. You know, that Super Bowl coming up on what, 8 years ago? 7 years ago? They've been kind of a mess. And that was obviously a terrible trade, a terrible contract. You're stuck with Jared Stidham. Good luck. In a division that seems like it might have some potential for teams to come in there with the Chiefs faltering this year. So we have a couple calls, a couple NFL related calls that I'll pull up right now. 310-359-8365. We'll start with this one. I think is an interesting discussion. I was going to already have this, but we have a caller, so that'll be a good way to set it up.
Hey, Andy. Hey, Joe. Fuck. I think it was week 8.
Wait, what? Why does it feel like we're just coming
Joe
in?
started like gaslighting, doing some dumb shit, saying fucking Daniel Jones was better than fucking Brock Purdy. And
what is this? What is this call? Did I load the wrong? Do I keep playing? I don't even. What is he talking about?
Well, it's already a lie. So that's the audacity to call somebody gaslighting and then just call a show and and then say something that never happened. Like we're not going to fucking remember. By the way, this is the same thing. This is if pay attention to my team is annoying, but also like I'm starting to lose it with DirtBalls when it comes to like, there's only like our opinions are black and white. Our opinions are black and white. Like our delusional Dolphins fan was basically saying like, I thought Kenny Pickett was going to be the MVP of the fucking league. He's like, you don't like Lamar Jackson, but you do like Kenny Pickett. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Oh, you said Daniel Jones is better than Brock Purdy. No, I didn't fucking say that. But I said these guys would be they'd look a whole lot different next to each other if Daniel Jones was on the 49ers and Brock Purdy was on the Giants. And I think that was right around the time he lost 3 straight football games because all of his weapons went out. But I'd love to see Brock Purdy with Darius Slayton and fucking Justin Pugh.
Well, the call I meant to play was about the comeback player of the year.
Great.
Because the odds-on favorite is, and here's why I think it's an interesting discussion. The odds-on favorite is Damar Hamlin, who's only played 14 snaps. Now, we witnessed him die, obviously, and I believe he's played like 14 snaps in 2 games. But I'm in the camp, and people might think I'm crazy. Is it you're on the field or just that you didn't die for comeback player of the year? And I'm not even trying to make a joke here. It's like the other guys in contention for comeback player of the year, obviously Joe Flacco, Baker Mayfield. It's like these guys are actually contributing to their team. If I had a vote, I know people might say, what? I would not vote for Damar Hamlin. I wouldn't.
I don't
Dude,
know
Joe
the
Flacco,
I guess I don't know the DeMar Hamlin. Like I haven't
he's
understood.
the odds-on favorite.
I know I haven't understood the DeMar Hamlin thing the whole year. I haven't understood it. Dude, he played a lot for the Bills last year.
Yeah.
So has the whole thing with DeMar Hamlin been he's not healthy enough to play? And now
that's a good question.
And now we're just trying out there. Because this idea that DeMar Hamlin, like the Bills started off the year not great. So you were good last year, and this guy was good enough to play a lot for you last year. And suddenly he's incompetent for playing for you. Because here, I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess, to me. But it's
so
like
he's been in 5 games, real quick. I'm incorrect.
Right. But here's my
he has 2 tackles.
Here's my question. If DeMar Hamlin hasn't really been healthy enough, but you guys felt like it was your duty to get him out there just because, it's a weird way to win comeback player of the year.
100%.
I almost feel like if he comes back next year and he actually plays, then he's comeback player of the year. Also, he died. So, like, if he wins the award, I'm okay with it. Like, everybody thought that was going to be the fucking end of his career.
Well, for sure. I just, again, if I have a vote, it's Joe Flacco. Sorry.
Right. And also, Baker Mayfield's coming back from being bad. Joe Flacco's coming back from being out of football, a.k.a. also on the Jets.
Yeah.
Like Baker Mayfield, looked okay last year for the Rams. You know what I mean?
He did.
Like, to me, if I don't know if they do first, second, third place votes for comeback player of the year, but it's Hamlin and Flacco. Like, Baker Mayfield doesn't get a vote from me. I'm like, can I give 2 votes to one of the other guys? Like, or can I give Flacco my first place vote and then give DeMar Hamlin my second and third place votes? Also, like, I'm fine with either of those guys winning.
All right, here's a call about the Bears, Justin Fields.
Joe and Andy, what up, boys? This is Zane, Dallas DirtBall. I had a question about Justin Fields. So I'm a Bears fan. I like Fields, but I'm kind of on the same page with you guys that, the mental processing isn't there. Like, it's year 4. We need to see way more at this point. So
I think it's year 3, by the way.
I'm personally on the draft Caleb Williams train, but I was curious if you guys think that Fields could find success somewhere else in the league. A lot of people are saying maybe the Falcons. He's from Georgia. So do you think he could have success on another team, or do you think his game is too limited by his lack of passing ability or processing ability? And then also, do you think the Bears should go with Caleb Williams at 1? Do you think they should go with Marvin Harrison? Or do you think they should trade back and try to acquire more assets and build around, maybe get a veteran guy later on? So let me know what you guys think. Sucks that I missed New Orleans, but hopefully looking forward to something in the future. Stay dirty, boys.
By the way, the Bears are in a very interesting situation.
Yeah.
Right, with their drafts. Like, because they have the number 1 pick again, correct?
Correct.
So it's like, I mean, what do you do?
I'm going to let you answer because I think I'll let you start.
Well, I'll just say this. They've won games recently.
Yeah.
So right now, they'd have the 1 pick and the 10th pick. I mean, 2 top 10 picks with the number 1 overall. So this is his 3rd year. I don't think he's that guy, personally. Now, obviously, I'm just a dude who watches the game. But if you think there's somebody there, you got to take him. That's what I do. Because somebody will want him. He still has a high trade value, Justin Fields. I have seen the Atlanta thing a lot, and a lot of former players, of course, play for the Falcons.
My opinion on this is not strong one way or the other. Although let's start with this. Another part of the lunacy with fucking delusional Dolphins fan was you hate Lamar Jackson. You love Daniel Jones. Okay. I love when people create their own fucking stories. Lamar Jackson is the MVP of football this year. Lamar Jackson is going to be a 2-time MVP. I do not like long-term potential for a quarterback who needs to run. Again, for the people who have created some narrative that I love Daniel Jones, tweeted, I will kill myself if the Giants give Daniel Jones $40 million. I'm sorry that I did not kill myself, guys. I'm sorry that means I have abandoned that stance because I decided to keep on living. Daniel Jones, by the way, I have no idea what his season would have ended up like because he got hurt, because he runs the football a lot. I hate quarterbacks who need to run the football to win. I don't like them. I think the league's too fast, and I don't think it's a long-term strategy. If Lamar Jackson wins the Super Bowl this year, I will tip my cap to Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, here we go again. You got to start another year. You got to run. You got to hope you don't get hurt. You got to try to be the 1 seed. You got to try to get all through the playoffs. So, as for the Bears, if I'm the GM of the Bears, I'd probably know a lot more about Caleb Williams and Drake May than I do. I don't watch college football. I think it's a fucking joke, if I haven't made that clear. I have no strong opinion on the quality of either of those players I do not watch college football. If you are the Bears and you are unsure whether or not Justin Fields is the real deal, but you are also unsure as to whether those guys are the real deal, and you want to select Marvin Harrison Jr. and take your chances before you have to pay the fucking Justin Fields, do it. If you want to take Marvin Harrison Jr. first and fucking take the kid from Washington at 10, is he supposed to fall there? I have no fucking idea. If I watched college football or gave a fuck about Mel Kiper mock drafts, I would. I start caring about you guys when you're in the league. We'll see how it happens. That being said, my opinion is I do not like running quarterbacks long-term potential. So that's where I would start. But if you're the Bears and you're not sure what you think about any of these other quarterbacks, and you want to take Marvin Harrison Jr. first and use your 10th pick on a potential quarterback to back up Justin Fields next year, go for it. But if you get a Marvin Harrison Jr. and you pair him with the receiver that you've already got there, and Justin Fields still can't make a playoff game, I wouldn't go paying him. Therein lies what happened with the Giants and fucking Daniel Jones. They were at a point where they stupidly did not take his option. They did not take his 5th-year option. And then they were forced to pay him because he won a fucking playoff game. This is, again, the thing is like, I get these comments all the time. Your fucking team's a clown. You guys fucked it. Your butt fucked it. Whatever. Look at what you did. Daniel Jones went on the road and won a playoff game. Justin Fields hasn't sniffed the playoffs. And the conversation still, is he the guy? We're definitely going to do the Justin Fields MVP outlier fucking the super cute Justin Fields MVP pick again next year, right? That we have apparently been doing every year for fucking 3 years now. Like, if I'm the Bears, I don't like running quarterbacks long-term potential. If I thought Drake May or Caleb Williams was the man, I would draft.
Then I feel the same way, you know, long-term running quarterback. I just don't think it's sustainable.
2 questions. One, did you just up your mic like 11,000 volume?
No, am I loud now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Wait, let me.
2, second part of that.
Is that better?
Yeah. We have both we both came in last week and we're talking about Lamar Jackson and the MVP. We're both like hands in the air. Like he won the MVP when he butt fucked the Dolphins last week, right?
100%.
Okay. So Lamar Jackson is the MVP. I would say we probably also agree Lamar Jackson has a fair to good chance of winning a Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, for sure.
Fair to good. If the Ravens don't win the Super Bowl this year, where do you put Lamar Jackson's chances of winning a Super Bowl in his career? Still fair to good?
I think it'd be fair. I mean, we all know how hard it is, man. It's so hard. When you get there, you got to win. You got to win when you're there, man.
And then also, like, it's not hating anybody for being like, he's not consistently making the deep run. Now, maybe this is his year, but if he doesn't win this year, I'm not all of a sudden, well, the Ravens are just going to start making deep playoff runs every year, and Lamar Jackson has kicked the injury bug.
I mean, the good thing is, look, the Ravens have obviously a great culture, great coach, traditionally a great defense. Like the Ravens are built to win and to win in that division, right? So that division, all 3 teams minus the Bengals have built their teams around running the ball, playing defense, stellar offense and defensive line. And the Bengals went more at the skill positions. And it did well for them 2 years in a row. Obviously, this year's different with Burrow being hurt, but I think obviously the Ravens are built for success. I fully believe in their coach. I'm a huge Harbaugh guy. But yeah, it goes back to the running quarterback, man. That's a giant question mark. And I'd be lying. I'd be lying if I'd say that I'm not very, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm interested or maybe yearning for like a Ravens Chiefs playoff game. Ravens Bills. I mean, especially Chiefs.
Because we're also like, you're looking at Lamar Jackson, like they went 14-2 the year he won the MVP. They didn't win a playoff game. And this shit got dicey for a couple of years. And now they're back. Like the idea that this, the idea that then this is the first of 5 years where he's playing deep into the playoffs. It's just like, that's the thing with me. It's like, I just don't like the long-term potential. It's Cam Newton. It's Dwight Howard. It's like, if your game is just based fully on like some sort of freak athleticism, like unless you continue to that shifts to being like a style of play that you can play when that freak athleticism goes away. Now Lamar Jackson's certainly throwing the ball more this year than the last time he won the MVP and running the ball less and all that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But also, do I think that he needs to run the ball to win right now? Still, yes.
Yes, 100% he does. 100%. And the thing I always go back to, and I'm not saying you can't do this, I always go back to, come playoff time, you're going to have to make plays in the fourth quarter with your arm, not your legs. I believe that. I really do. I believe you're going to have to make those plays. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm of the opinion I'm of the opinion that this isn't a freak turn of events for the Eagles, by the way. I believe we're going to get the low-key Jalen Hurts surgery this offseason, or we're going to get the low-key Jalen Hurts was hurt story this offseason.
Well, he has been hurt. I don't think there's any denying that. Right?
We got into the whole thing of the tush push, the brotherly shove. Should it be? It's like, I'm not a big fan of like letting your quarterback get hit. I'm a less big fan of hitting your own quarterback.
I love the tush push. I think more teams should do it. If you just need a yard, half a yard, right? Just do it. I mean, what's the difference between that and the Tom Brady QB sneak? What's the difference?
You're not getting hit by your own players from behind.
Well, he's not hitting them; they're just pushing them. You know, I mean, they're just shoving him. I mean, look, this coming playoffs has some fascinating storylines. I mean, it really does, especially with the Chiefs struggling to score points. Their wide receiver situation is a fucking debacle. These guys just can't catch any passes. See, Mr. Prano popped a little Knicks action on the rundown.
Well, we got to get to this. I'm sorry we buried it for our NBA fans that Andy has sent to Alcatraz in the last few years. But a lot of people wanted my opinion on this, and I tweeted out a quick opinion of it, but not near. There is a ton of layers to this Knicks trade, and I want to clear it up because OG Anunoby is a great player. I like him. I love him. I think he fits an old school Knicks style of play. I think he fits a Tom Thibodeau, who I'm not the world's biggest fan of, style of play. I think he is everything that the Knicks wanted RJ Barrett to be in some regard. I think the Knicks were more hopeful of RJ Barrett's potential when he came out, but the last few years, at least this year and last year, what they wanted RJ Barrett to be is a guy who could hit that corner three when Jalen Brunson and Randall were creating. I think they wanted a guy who could defend, and that is what OG Anunoby is. He will hit the corner three. He will finish. He will play exceptional defense. Let me be very clear. He is the best player in this trade by a long shot. Now, RJ Barrett is 3 years younger. I don't think RJ Barrett becomes, at his best day, as complete as OG Anunoby. Do I think Tom Thibodeau is not great at getting the best out of young players, at helping guys develop? Yes. So I think RJ Barrett was done a bit of a disservice by his own coach. But at this point, he didn't turn into what anybody thought he could be in terms of his style of play. And he didn't turn into a great version of what they needed him to be, which is what OG does. That being said, I tweeted immediately, I don't like it, the trade. And I don't like it right now for one reason. He fills a hole that they wanted RJ Barrett to play. He does it cheaper. Great. If it was straight up for those guys, I love it. If it was straight up for those guys and the Knicks threw in picks, I love it. But the Knicks also traded Emmanuel quickly. And I don't know what happens to the Knicks bench scoring without quickly. They looked pretty good yesterday. So it's too early to fucking say they're going to be incapable of scoring. But Emmanuel Quickley is a really, really, really good player. And the Knicks somehow got into a weird situation where they're like, we're not going to be able to pay Emmanuel Quickley because he's going to want some sort of money. Well, I got news for you. OG Anunoby is a free agent this offseason. Like, you better have a deal in place that he's about to sign. Also, I just don't think this alone puts the Knicks really in any better position to contend. Even if it makes them a better team, I don't think it puts them in a better position to contend. Now, a lot of people are saying this is the first of a couple of deals the Knicks are going to make. To which I say, I'll believe it when I fucking see it. Because the Knicks traded Kristaps Porzingis because they were getting Kevin Durant. Kristaps Porzingis is now on the best team in the East, playing pretty fucking well. And we traded him so we could get Kevin Durant. Spoiler, we did not get Kevin Durant. The Knicks got Tracy McGrady on an expiring deal so we could get cap space so we could sign LeBron in the summer of 2010. I don't know if you guys are big NBA fans, but spoiler, we did not get LeBron James. The Knicks have not gotten fucking anyone ever. They have not gotten a big Julius Randle, Amare Stoudemire, the fucking free agent signings are so like if there is another move where whether it be at this trading deadline or even next year, the starting lineup is Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, OG, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson, great. I like the deal. But if we're trading RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley because we overpaid RJ Barrett and we can't pay Quickley for OG, who we haven't locked up a deal with yet, because we think that makes us a better chance of beating like the Celtics or the Bucks or the Sixers, then I don't like it. So there's a lot of layers to it. On the surface, it feels like we gave up a lot of young talent that has upside for a guy who we know exactly what he is right now, who we have not yet signed. Obviously, I'm very hopeful that that signing is at least the minimum that comes from it is that we re-sign him. And I think he obviously makes the starting lineup better, and he's obviously better than RJ Barrett. And I think at this point, RJ Barrett will probably not become as good a player as he is, although maybe he's out of Tom Thibodeau's system, and he does. But I don't think he's ever going to be as good a two-way player. But then you don't sign Emmanuel Quickley because you think he's going to want money. Like, how do we know how much fucking money he's going to get? Like, just doesn't feel like that he needed to be included in that deal. And I think it really hurts the Knicks bench scoring. That's my full thoughts on it. I don't like the deal, but I don't like the deal pending.
I just like that his name rhymes with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. I think it for sure makes the Knicks starting lineup better today. And that's nice. They're going to play better basketball. But are they going to have a better shot at contending? I'm happy that we have him. Let me just say that. I'm happy that we have him. But there's a lot of talk of like this patience. Even one of my better friends, one of my less delusional Knicks fans friends said, give it 19 months. I was like, give it 19 months. What the fuck are we doing here?
It's a weird number. It's an odd number.
It's free agency next year.
Ah, okay.
So it's like this seems, and the thing is like, to me, OG on a team where Jalen Brunson is your best player or your 1A or your 1B. Julius Randle is your third best player. OG in the starting lineup is fucking unbelievable. But right now, we have a Jalen Brunson as our best player. Randle thinks he's the best player. There is no other guy there. Then we've got a bunch of dudes from fucking Villanova. Mitchell Robinson's hurt, and we got OG. We're going to be better in the short term. So I don't like the deal with the Quickly thing, but if this is truly the beginning of some sort of other move, well, then I'll like it. But again, I'll believe it when I fucking see it.
And that's your NBA talk for the next 2 months.
Month and a half.
Kidding. But we do have some calls. I'd like to get through a couple calls that have been sitting in the queue. Yeah, let's get to those. 310-359-8365. We'll start with I know Christmas was last week, but I thought this was an interesting call.
What's going on, boys? Calling back once again from beautiful Toms River, New Jersey, the 1998 Little League World Series champions. I want your list of the most depressing places to be on Christmas. The airport, that's one of mine. Atlantic City. I just think of people walking around the casino, pulling the slots like at 4:00 on Christmas. Those casinos will have people in them. That's a sad thought. And then every time that I'm driving, to my sister's house or something on Christmas, and I pass a McDonald's and there's people going through the drive-thru on Christmas, that's pretty depressing too. I think I'd put a gun in my mouth if I had to get, McDonald's drive-thru at 4:00, maybe at 11:00 after dinner for a little dessert. But and also, what's your most depressing Christmas? What was the worst one? And Dandy, I know you lost your parents. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking like, not because of any external factors, just because you were being an idiot or maybe didn't have your life together. What was the most fucked up, sad Christmas you had? That doesn't include the death of your parents. Rest in peace, Walt and Joanne. Love you. Miss you. Condoms are for the New England Patriots.
Good. I like how he went back to that a couple times. But here's why this call hit me. I could why it hit me? Because he mentioned a lot of things I've experienced. As in, I worked at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas on Christmas. So like I've seen it. So like I was working, I worked in their spa, a little different, but it was fascinating. I worked a few holidays. It was fascinating to see people in the casino on Christmas. Now, I think I've never been to Atlantic City. I know that's different than Las Vegas.
They're a lot different, and Vegas is not. And Vegas is not by no means like some sort of formal place or like chic place to be, or like But Atlantic City is Vegas if it was only the Rio. You know what I mean? Like it's not. There's a lot of not good fucking places. Atlantic City is a shitty version of Vegas.
No, I get that, and I have flown many times back home on Christmas. I actually don't find the airport depressing. I don't know if he meant staying like in the airport, because there's the excited feeling of I'm going to be home and see family. So like, I never found I always had multiple times I had layovers in Dallas or I'm sorry, Denver. It's like, oh no, just one more flight and I get to see see family. But I've worked, I've worked being in the service industry. I worked like that Christmas. I worked at Caesar's Palace when I was a server in a hotel. I worked multiple Christmases. I have actual fun Christmas stories of like getting bombed at work with my coworkers, going out. Like that's fun. I had a Christmas. I came home, Here's the thing. I know it might sound depressing. Came home, my roommate was gone. This is when I lived in Venice. I kind of loved it. I was like, okay, I'm not going home for Christmas. I just worked, had a few drinks in me. I was watching some basketball, went to Townhouse by myself. And I'll be honest, it was like, it's kind of nice. But I do have a Christmas where you're gonna think I'm a lunatic. So my parents got to the point where they would say, your gift is a flight home. Your Christmas gift is a flight home. And one Christmas I was like, no. One Christmas I was going through some stuff internally. I can tell you the Christmas. It was Christmas 2012. So I'm like 31 at the time. And I was broke and I had a few different jobs. And I was like, no, you're not paying for that. I'm too old to be fucking letting you pay for my ticket home. I'm not going home. So I purposely stayed there. And this is the time that I was a nanny of the kindergartner. And I've obviously had keys to their house. They're away for Christmas. I purposely just stayed in their house, watched basketball, watched movies. They lived by Santa Monica. You know where that Jack in the Box is by Santa Monica and like 14.
Yep.
I walked to Jack in the Box.
Wow.
My Christmas meal was Jack in the Box because I wanted to, and I do this sometimes, I wanted to know what it felt like to not be around family, not be around friends, and have Jack in the Box and how he's talking about McDonald's for my Christmas meal. And that's what I did. And I think I even ignored calls from like my mom. And I always went back after that. Right? That was like the last time I didn't go back when I was living away. Because I wanted to feel, I wanted that in my head because I was like, I'll never let this happen again. I'll make sure I make things work out. I know it sounds crazy. It's kind of like, a Kobe mom mentality. I just feel how shitty it feels. Now, you probably argue that's probably my most depressing. I mean, I'm eating Jack in the Box. And it's just an empty house.
So here's the thing. First of all, Kyle, aren't you Jewish? What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that the whole time.
Second of all, I don't know. I'm not the world's biggest like Christmas guy. I'm not like I spent Christmas basically alone this year. My girlfriend's dad is sick, so she went down and like saw her dad and just stayed home with the dogs. And it's like I don't mind it that much. Like I think as far as like depressing Christmas goes, like I've had some to me, I think Christmas is a pretty depressing thing for me anyway. I don't know. Maybe because, and I know he said, well, let's not talk about our dead parents or whatever, but like Christmas was really big in my house growing up. My dad really liked Christmas. We were the house that people came to, like lots of people, family, friends, like tons of people. So sort of any Christmas that isn't that for me is pretty depressing. But then I like kind of bask in the like, oh, I'll go surfing. Or I'll go to KFC, or I'll go to like whatever. And it doesn't really like, it's just like all the equal amounts. Like it doesn't bother me that much. I have worked on Christmas. I think that's going to be I wouldn't want to be on a Greyhound bus during Christmas. I wouldn't want to be like in Atlantic City. I guess I wouldn't want to be like, in like some of them. I wouldn't want to be anywhere that's depressing just generally. Like generally, if you're at a place that's depressing, that and then you add Christmas onto it, it's like extra. But for me, I think I'm just gonna go with like work. Like I don't want to be at work on Christmas. Like I'd rather be alone watching basketball, eating Kentucky Fried Chicken than at work. Because I've worked on Christmas, and that was like, it's not depressing, but it's also just like, what the fuck are we doing here? I was like working at the news, the news is like, there's no day offs in the news, but I was just like, ugh.
Well, I think from my experience, the service business wasn't as depressing just because, like I said, you're in this together. Like, well, granted, my multiple times, like I'm getting hammered. It's like, oh, we're working. Okay, well then we're getting drunk at the restaurant. Like, and then everybody's so nice to us, and everybody's tipping us, and I mean, the truth is, it's like, oh, that's a night where people are going to be hooking up too. It's like we're all depressed, and I don't know, but like
your house, your girl does. She has multiple trees and stuff like that. Like
4.
To me, Christmas is not like we don't have a tree, we don't have lights.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of Christmas music. Like I don't really Christmas out hard. I think like maybe that would change if I had a family and I was like, oh, you're doing it for the kids, but like.
By the way, allegedly, my girl. Some dirtballs really think that this is all a ruse.
I mean, I am not 100% that you have.
I have a child.
Yeah, but there's a lot of ways to acquire a child.
She's a private person. She's just not.
I know she's a private person, but she wasn't there when we were there. She wasn't at her home.
Well, to be fair, she was very pregnant, and it was just like, I mean, the truth is, we were laughing about that the other night. I was like, she was snoring so, like, the pregnancy, sometimes this happens, where like, I don't know what month, but I basically had to sleep in the other room. And then you came, and then you were in that other room, right? The guest bedroom. And it was just like, she's just like, I want you guys to be able to just let loose. And I don't want you worried about me getting up for work. But I know there are some dirtballs who think that this is all just made up, which is hilarious to me. That like, I have a giant ruse. Like,
well, I mean, you are Andy Ruther live tweet my Tinder date. You are like, this is my
that's
baby.
Andy Ruther.
No, I know, but this is my baby. This is my baby's like formula can collection. Like we never got like one. We don't even get like the private Andy. We don't even get the private person like you. Like, yeah, you're holding hands in a picture. Like, if we don't see her face. Like, she's not fucking Prince William's baby. Like, put her on your goddamn Instagram story, dog.
I was looking at her Instagram. She has not posted since 2016. That's just her thing, man. She just doesn't post. I mean, you got, we can, I can talk to her. She just, I don't know.
I just want, like, can you just hold her up in the air like she's the Lion King and with just an Instagram caption like she's real?
But again, if this was all made up, like, what are we talking about here, guys? I'm in a house with a baby. And there's just no woman around. You said you can get a baby.
You can get a baby.
It's gonna be like Jameis 101. I'll have her call in.
Bro, Jameis 101 hasn't posted in like a month.
Oh, for real?
Last tweet or retweet or anything was December 3rd. I think I think his wife, speaking of fucking wives, I think his wife was like, enough's enough.
Bro. For real? I'm gonna pull this up.
Somebody pulled the fucking rug out. They're like, enough's enough, dude. Either that or he's in jail for his crimes against humanity.
Yeah, it's December 3rd. He retweeted. I've never seen a break like this.
Mental institution, jail, dead, or just his phone got taken away because his wife and children have had enough.
I mean, he has 87,000 tweets.
Or did he finally find a taker for all the Jameis 101 cards? And he's just like, well, that's it. My work here is done.
I mean, this plot really thickens.
Can we put up a poll on Dirty Sports Twitter? Is Jameis one of one dead, in jail, in a mental institution, punted on all his Jameis one of one cards?
I'm leaning towards somebody was like, or maybe his wife left him. I was like, dude, like, you
spend your whole life ignoring me and your 11 kids here in Belize, so that you can tweet about.
Well, here's the good news, Joe. And it's the same thing, DirtBalls. Just to bring it back to like me and making up a relationship. Everything is public. You can find out where somebody lives. You can find out who is on the actual deed. It's all public. We can find out because we have his address. We can find out if that house has been sold. If there's a divorce. I mean, you can find out anything about anybody in public records. I don't know if they list if you've been committed to a mental hospital. I don't know if that's public record. There's some, what's the thing where you can't reveal medical stuff? What's that?
HIPAA.
Yeah, there's HIPAA laws for that. Here's one for you. Brittany and Jameis 101 are in cahoots. About that one for you. All right. Do we want to do one more call?
Sure.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Also, one more thing for Kyle Aronofsky. I don't know if he's listening the whole time. Kyle, this won't make sense to anybody else, but Kyle, I should just text you this, but I'll do it on the show. The fact that you didn't get that one Twitter reply with sarcasm makes me really sad, Kyle. You're better than that.
Okay. All right. This is a funny. This is A. Millie. This is classic A. Millie. This is in response to us laughing about Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, and there's no video evidence. This is actually pretty funny.
What's up, fellas? It's your boy A. Millie. I'm in my car driving back from work, so apologize for the background noise. But I want to talk about what y'all said about Wilt Chamberlain in the last episode. I actually left a call about this one time. Wilt Chamberlain is a generational liar. All right, let's get past the no footage of the 100 points. This motherfucker said he could bench press 600 pounds. He had a 50-inch vertical, ran a 4.6 40-yard dash. This mother, and the biggest lie of them all that we're not discussing, this motherfucker said he had sex with 10,000 women. Bruh. Andy, Joe, off the top of your head, how many girls have you had sex with? 3, 2, 1. You don't know. You can't tell. I know some people like to throw a random number like 33 out there. OG Dirtballs know what I'm talking about. But this motherfucker, Wilt Chamberlain, is a generational liar. So good that they have people to this day believing him. Get Wilt Chamberlain the fuck out of here. And besides that, man, I mean, fucking condoms are for Wilt Chamberlain. I wonder how many times he used the condom in the 10,000 times he banged a fucking hua.
So by the way, and I know we've done this before, the math, if you had sex with 10,000 women, you have to have sex with one new woman every day for 27 straight years. A new woman every day, 365 days a year. A new woman for 27 straight years, every single day.
Yeah. Now, I'll give Wilt Chamberlain the benefit of the doubt. He probably banged 3 women at a time once, maybe 4. But dude, that buys you 4 days. That buys you 4 days. This motherfucker fucking on Christmas every year. Every year, fucking on Christmas. Fucking every game day, travel day, road game, every day. 27 years.
And here's the thing, guys.
Let's be honest. Wilt Chamberlain had sex with less than 1,000 women.
No, and maybe it was 1,000. Like, look.
No, it wasn't, Andy. 1,000? 1,000?
I mean, I mean, yeah, it's look, I mean, here's the thing. I've had my quote unquote runs with girls or like where I'm just like, I want to have sex with everything, whatever in the past. And it's like, where I've had certain days where I'm like, what am I doing? Or whatever. But like, then you just like, I needed some time off. It's like anything. The thought of not taking time off. Like, and here's the thing. It's pretty easy to get laid in the dating app world. It is. That shit didn't exist. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you hear Ric Flair, you hear what's the guy from Kiss? Why am I forgetting his name?
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons. These guys talk about the thousands of women they've had sex with. I don't think they're lying. I think guys who are on the road and it's like, oh, dude, you're in Motley Crue and you're in the 80s. It's like you're bringing back girls every night. You might have sex with 5 or 6 of them. I don't know, and it can add up quickly. But 10,000. You don't think it's 1,000? I bet it's 1,000.
Okay, it's not 3,000. It's not 5,000. Like you said, 10,000. He's the OG Aaron Rodgers with the fucking list of lies.
I mean, if you looked up, after his call, I was Googling it. They're saying if he had a 50-inch, like he was so tall, if your vert was that high, like, you know how high up he'd be?
I love too the whole like the 600-pound like I love that just like the whole world knows what it looks like to bench press 200 pounds or 300 pounds, and that slender man, a goddamn grasshopper, was bench pressing 600 pounds. Like, dude, you're like the footage of you're literally remarkably skinny.
Well, here's what's crazy about Wilt Chamberlain. Did he not have kids? How is that possible? Okay. No. Despite having an impressive love life, love this article, Wilt Chamberlain did not have children. There are no known descendants of Wilt Chamberlain, despite the claim, well, this is a different one, that he slept with 20,000 women.
Now I think Wilt Chamberlain might have been gay. No, hold on. Think about it, Andy. You're claiming 20,000. You're claiming 10,000 women. And you got none pregnant? Now I'm starting to think your claim about how many women you had sex with is because you were gay.
Well, and also, statistically speaking, gay men have the most sexual partners because we know, obviously, men were just horny animals. So if you're attracted to another man, I mean, that is backed up statistically.
I'm not saying he had sex with 10,000 men. I'm saying the claim of I had sex with 10,000 women. She doth protest too much, dude. What are you trying to prove? I can't decide what the title of this episode should be. Wilt Chamberlain was gay, or the Ravens Dolphin game involved shit and blood.
Bro, there are some amazing Wilt quotes. This is from Sports Illustrated. Who knows when? He said, there's no date on this, but he said, I just don't think I'm the sort of person who could be with one soul. I'm too individualistic and too gregarious with the young ladies. And I'll tell you this too, my man. I have no need to raise any little wilties. Little wilties?
Is Wilt Chamberlain the greatest gay basketball player of all time? I say
that's amazing.
Unless, of course, we're counting Magic Johnson, and then I say no.
20,000?
Bro.
This is from an article. When is this article? I don't know. This looks like it's from 7. Oh, that's from a 1988 Sports Illustrated article. All right. Well, if you guys have any intel on the whole Wilt Chamberlain situation, give us a ring. 310
I solved it.
359. So do you think Wilt Chamberlain did to
I cannot
Do you
wait.
think he-
I cannot
do you
wait for the follow-up to this episode. You guys talk more about Wilt Chamberlain's sex than you ever talked about Jared Goff's fucking quarterback play. No respect. Fucking.
Do you think he did to men what the Ravens did to the Dolphins? I would not want to be on the other end of that. I'll tell you that much.
No.
That's not a way I want to go.
The Ravens butt fuck the Dolphins with Wilt Chamberlain's dick.
There's
your title.
All right. On that note, you got any shows to promote?
I'm sure I do, but I'll be back. I was just up in the San Luis Obispo area this weekend, but I'll be back up there headlining a bunch of shows, including Sneaky Pete's. If you're in the San Luis Obispo area in a couple weeks, come check that out. I've got a bunch of other shows listed on my website, joeprano.com. Sounds like I'll be back in Vegas in March. Sounds like I'll be back in Arizona in March. Stay tuned for those getting added. And yeah, got a bunch of shows coming up. So just follow my Instagram at Joe Prano. That's where I post them.
All right, guys, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll get back on the schedule. So we'll be back on Thursday. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.